I got from Poland, and it is a lot. First of all, I've always been skeptical of the ideas of white nationalism, of identitarianism, and white identity. However, I am an empiricist, and I could not help but notice that I could have peaceful, free, easy, civilized, and safe discussions in what is essentially an all-white country. The monoculture that has survived from the Middle Ages through the Renaissance, through the Enlightenment, through the Industrial Revolution, into the 21st century in Poland is something to be treasured, respected, admired, and protected. The Poles are not guilty, and guilt has been so infused into the hearts and minds of Europeans and of whites that to see a shame-free and guilt-free culture, a resilient, strong culture that is resisting collectivism, is something that moved me more than I can probably ever express, but I hope is encapsulated in the footage that you're seeing in this documentary. White guilt is just a horribly profitable vending machine that people pound in order to get resources from largely white male taxpayers. And it's a horrible shakedown, and it's something that should be enormously resisted. Along with the guilt in the West comes frivolity and hedonism and the selling off of freedoms just for the sake of transitory relief from guilt. The shallow hedonism of sexuality or drugs or drinking or self-abandon or you name it. When the fire of liberty, history of your civilization, when it begins to diminish, when it begins to die out, there is a great temptation to huddle up close to that fire and to stay close and to warm yourself from the dying embers and fading coals of that fire, rather than go out into the woods to gather more, to feed that fire and bring it to life again. It is so easy to take that fire for granted and to imagine that the fire is not something you need to protect and feed, but it's like the sun. It burns of its own accord, gives you warmth whether you work for it or not. It's false. It's false. And it's a destructive fantasy to imagine that the fire will last as long as you and your ancestors have wanted it, and as long as you and your descendants draw breath. It will not. It will fade. It will vanish in this cold and chilly world of competition and Darwinian evolution and brutality. Liberty produces wealth that is a treasure that draws other cultures to steal, to take, and the way they do it is through guilt, through manipulation.